Karen waddled into the cozy Maple Grove eatery like she owned the place, her purse swinging like a wrecking ball. By her side, her sister Darlene, a carbon copy of Karen's smug entitlement, huffed loud enough to turn heads. The air was thick with the aroma of fresh pasta and roasted garlic, but Karen's voice sliced through it like a foghorn. "I want the lobster ravioli, and I want it now," she bellowed, her chins quivering with indignation. The young couple at the corner booth, mid-bite, froze, their forks hovering. The manager, a wiry man named Tom, barely had time to wipe his hands on his apron before Karen's tirade began. It was a Friday night, and Maple Grove was packed. The small, family-owned restaurant had earned a reputation for its homemade dishes, especially the lobster ravioli, a seasonal special that sold out faster than concert tickets. Tom, with his usual calm demeanor, explained to Karen and Darlene that the dish was gone for the night. "We've got a fantastic mushroom risotto or a creamy fettuccine alfredo," he offered, his voice steady despite Karen's glare. But Karen wasn't here for alternatives. Her face reddened, her eyes narrowing into slits. "Do you know who I am?" she snapped, leaning forward, her bulk casting a shadow over the counter. Darlene nodded vigorously, adding, "We're HOA presidents. We don't wait, and we don't settle." The couple in the booth, Mia and Ethan, exchanged a glance. Mia whispered, "Here we go," as Ethan stifled a chuckle. They'd seen Karen's type before, self-appointed queens who treated the world like their personal fiefdom. Karen, oblivious to the growing audience, slammed her hand on the counter, rattling a stack of menus. "This is unacceptable," she shrieked. "I drove 20 minutes for that ravioli. You're ruining my night." Darlene chimed in, her voice a grating echo. "You're incompetent. Get us the chef." The restaurant fell silent, save for the faint clink of a glass somewhere in the back. Tom's jaw tightened, but he kept his cool. "Ma'am, I'm sorry, but we're out. I can comp a dessert if you'd like." Karen laughed, a harsh, mocking sound. "Dessert? You think I'm here for your pathetic pie?" She turned to Darlene, who was already pulling out her phone, muttering about Yelp reviews and ruining this dump. The sisters' entitlement was a performance, a well-rehearsed act they'd clearly perfected at HOA meetings where they bullied neighbors over mailbox colors. Mia, now openly irritated, muttered to Ethan, "They're acting like they're starving." Ethan smirked, but his eyes stayed on Karen, who was now pointing a manicured finger at Tom. "You're a disgrace to this town," she spat. "I'll have your job." Tom, still composed, tried again. "Ladies, please. Let's keep this civil. I can get you a table and our best dishes in minutes." But Karen wasn't having it. She leaned closer, her voice dropping to a venomous hiss. "You don't tell me what to do. I'm a paying customer." Darlene, egging her on, shouted, "We deserve respect." The irony hung heavy. Respect was the last thing they offered anyone. The other patrons, now fully invested, watched as if this were live theater. A teenager at a nearby table started recording on his phone, whispering, "This is going viral." The tension snapped when Karen grabbed a glass of water from the counter intended for another customer and flung it across the room. It shattered against a wall, sending shards skittering across the floor. Gasps rippled through the restaurant. Mia stood up, her patience gone. "Lady, calm down. It's just food," she yelled, her voice sharp but shaky. Karen whirled on her, eyes blazing. "Stay out of this, you little nobody," she roared. Ethan stood protectively in front of Mia, his fists clenched. "Back off," he said low and firm. Darlene, sensing a fight, stepped toward Ethan, jabbing a finger. "Don't you dare talk to us like that." Tom, now visibly shaken, reached for the phone behind the counter. "I'm calling the police," he said, loud enough for everyone to hear. Karen laughed again, but this time it was nervous, her bravado cracking. "Go ahead. They won't touch me," she taunted, but her hands trembled as she clutched her purse. Darlene, less confident, tugged at Karen's sleeve. "Maybe we should go," she muttered, but Karen yanked her arm away. "No, they owe us." The minutes that followed felt like hours. The restaurant buzzed with whispers as patrons debated whether to intervene or keep watching. The teenager's phone was still rolling, capturing every moment of Karen's meltdown. Mia and Ethan sat back down, but their eyes never left the scene. Tom stood his ground, phone to his ear, calmly relaying the situation to the dispatcher. Karen, realizing she was losing control, doubled down. She grabbed a stack of napkins and threw them into the air, screaming, "This place is a joke." Napkins fluttered like confetti, an absurd contrast to the chaos she'd unleashed. When the police arrived, the restaurant seemed to hold its breath. Two officers, a tall woman with a no-nonsense ponytail and a stocky man with a stern frown, stepped through the door. Karen's face paled, but she quickly recovered, puffing out her chest. "Officers, thank God. This man refused to serve us," she lied, pointing at Tom. Darlene nodded, her voice shrill. "It's discrimination." The officers exchanged a glance, clearly unimpressed. The woman, Officer Reyes, stepped forward. "Ma'am, we got a call about a disturbance. Step outside, please." Karen's jaw dropped. "Me? You're arresting me," she shrieked, her voice hitting a pitch that made Ethan wince. Officer Reyes didn't flinch. "You're causing a scene and destroying property. Let's go." Karen's defiance crumbled as the officers flanked her, guiding her toward the door. Darlene trailed behind, stammering excuses. She didn't mean it. "We're important people," she pleaded, but the officers ignored her. As Karen was escorted out, her purse caught on a chair, spilling receipts and a half-eaten candy bar onto the floor. The teenager zoomed in, grinning. Outside, under the glow of the restaurant's neon sign, Karen's protests grew weaker. The officers read her rights as she was cuffed, her face a mix of fury and humiliation. Darlene stood frozen, clutching her phone, her Yelp review forgotten. The crowd inside erupted into murmurs, some clapping, others shaking their heads. Mia leaned toward Ethan, whispering, "Karma's quick tonight." Tom, wiping sweat from his brow, thanked the remaining patrons for their patience and offered free coffee to anyone who stayed. The teenager uploaded his video, captioning it, "HOA Karen versus reality, epic fail." As the police car pulled away, Karen's silhouette slumped in the back seat, her reign of terror over. The restaurant slowly returned to normal, the clink of forks and hum of conversation filling the void she left. Tom, ever the professional, comped Mia and Ethan's meal, thanking them for standing up. "People like that think they own the world," he said, shaking his head. "But the world doesn't owe them a thing." Mia nodded, her anger fading into pity. "She'll probably blame everyone but herself," she said. Ethan chuckled, "but she's already planning her next tantrum." The night ended with a quiet lesson. Entitlement might open doors, but it doesn't keep them open. Karen and Darlene, the self-proclaimed queens of their HOA kingdom, had fallen hard, their arrogance no match for a small-town restaurant's dignity. The viral video would haunt them, a digital scarlet letter for their neighbors to gossip over. And somewhere, in the quiet corners of Maple Grove, people would remember that even the loudest voices can't drown out justice. The end.